Good morning, Raptor Freaks, Lexi Odds. Holy crap, I didn't realize the sun was so bright in the picture. Hang on a sec. Get this a little bit more drawn so that it's not so bright. Holy cow, I didn't realize that angle was so bright with the sun coming in. All right, how y'all doing this morning? It's Saturday. We're doing the Saturday Share the Love Club for Alvin Williams. And it's not just because of him as an announcer or as a player. It's just as being a Raptor. And in some reasons why is basically this. People don't realize how much Alvin Williams was the first Raptor that culturally took to a culture of the Raptors. That there were great players before him, like Damon Stoudemire, Tracy McGrady, different people like that, Marcus Camby, but none of them actually took to the idea of Raptors culture until Alvin Williams. And it's weird. He kind of happened upon it by accident. When he got traded to the Raptors for Damon Stoudemire, he didn't know what to expect. And coming to Toronto, he came with an open mind. It's really interesting. Like, he hadn't come to Canada or anything like that, and he really didn't know what we were all about up here, but he liked it. And it's weird. He found his stride in the NBA on the Raptors. He was kind of spinning his wheels on the Trailblazers. And then when he came to us, he started getting success. So in some ways, that ingratiated Alvin Williams to the Toronto Raptors team way back, that he started finding good success in his professional career while he was on the Raptors. So it's weird because what I'm talking about, and I've been talking about recently, is culture. It's something that the Celtics have in like crazy, crazy, crazy layers of culture for their team. You think about the decade of the 60s and Bill Russell and how many championships they won. You think about the layer of Dave Cowens, the layer of Larry Bird, the layer of Paul Pierce. And there's culture in the Celtics organization. And the Raptors being a younger team and franchise, we aspire to have culture added to our team. And that's been difficult in the first 25 years of existence. Sometimes we have culture, and we've had it more recently in the last 10 years with different people. But the first person that kind of really started establishing culture and honor and dedication to this franchise was Alvin Williams. He really, really is. And that's part of the reason why he's a lot of people's favorite first Raptor. Vince was not a culture setter for the Raptors in a way. Vince was, sure, he set the country on fire and brought the attention to the sport and made everybody excited to watch him. But in some ways, his loyalty and the way he played for the Raptors wasn't the same as Alvin Williams. That Alvin Williams truly was the first one that set up a culture of loyalty and proudness of being a Raptor. And he's paid big prices for it. In some ways, he's turned his back on the city of Philadelphia, where he's born, and even the country of the United States to a degree. And we haven't treated him the best at times either. We traded him, we waived him, we fired him as a coach on this team. He's had every reason to be pissed at the Raptors team, but he has not. He loves Toronto. He loves the Raptors. And he is like I'm saying, he's the first example of somebody who truly was the right kind of person that set up that culture. In some ways, his ties to Philadelphia and his ties to Villanova and Kyle Lowry were passed down. Seriously. In some ways, we may not have had Lowry the way we did in the decade that he was around us. If Alvin had not had the history with us before, I could maybe project that. Seriously, think about it. Alvin Williams took us in very high esteem, and he was a mentor and somebody that Kyle looked up to. So when he came here, he took being a Raptor maybe a little bit more seriously than some Americans who come to Canada and play for the Raptors. So that's what I'm saying. Alvin Williams, in some ways, is the very first person around the Raptors that set an honorable, loyal culture towards the team. And to this day, he stays loyal to our team. To this day. And I love it. I love it so much because, first of all, as a player, he was fantastic. He was clutch. He helped us win our first ever playoff series against the New York Knicks. He was just a dude that you just liked. He wasn't the best player. He wasn't the most flashy like Vince, but he was meat and potatoes. He was somebody who got in there and did the grind and worked hard and made things happen and did win. So I want to really shed a light on that aspect of Alvin. that in some ways he was the first building block of Raptors culture. And I appreciate him. I love him so much for it because we need more culture. We need more things like Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes and DeMar DeRozan. We need more of that those kind of players that build culture for our team and history and show that, we have stuff to be proud of, just like the Lakers or the Celtics or the Bulls. So, that's important to mature and grow as a franchise. You need to cultivate culture. And Alvin Williams, thank you for being the first, honestly, maybe the first and the most brave to stand by the Raptors and be a part of our culture. And that's why, I honestly, that's a big reason why I love him, is his loyalty and dedication to the Raptors, even at every stage, whether it was as a player when he first showed up and his crazy hard playing. He played so hard for us. And then later, he came back and he was an assistant coach on the team. And then now he's one of our announcers on Sportsnet. And he worked his way up at Sportsnet. It's not like they just handed him this job that he's doing now as the color guy beside Matt Devlin on Sportsnet. He had to work hard to get to that spot. In fact, he was with Sportsnet for like 8 years before they actually let him sit in that spot. So, man, we love you, Alvin. I was so proud to meet you again earlier this year with our good friend Tom Duke while he was in town. That was just a great experience because I know Tommy coming to Toronto for just a couple of days, him getting to meet a Raptors legend while he was here with us coming to the game was a big deal. And I love that Tom got to meet Alvin this year. Honestly, that picture of Tom and I with Alvin is one of my favorite pictures just because it's my buddy Tom with my favorite Raptor for all time. Honestly, in some ways, Alvin still is my favorite Raptor of all time. It's tough because there's a lot of good Raptors right now. But yeah, I just want to do my spiel real quick about why Alvin Williams is important to the Raptors organization, because he's that first culture building block for us. The first one that stood by us no matter what. The first one who didn't sell us out. First one that didn't go to Brooklyn. First one that didn't go to Miami. That kind of stuff. And that's why I love him. I love him for it so much. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Dana's here first. Good morning, everyone. Raptors. Good to see Canadian Dana. Always good to see the patriotic Canadian Dana. Worried about her Blue Jays right now. But, hopefully they can get something going real quick and still figure out how to get this wild card. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. He's got Alvin Williams, Monique, myself, OG, Dennis, Pascal, Scotty, and Jakob with the Raptor heads there. Good morning to you, Commissioner J. Dana's saying, if you like free stuff, Whitby is having a giant citywide thing where free stuff is available all over. It's like a giant yard sale, only everything is free. Wow, that's an amazing thing put on by the city of Whitby. We might have to see more communities do stuff like that. It's good in a lot of ways. Not only is it good because people are getting free stuff, but what happens is people have things and they don't really have a use for it anymore. And it's just kind of lying around. Sure, you could sell it. You could put it on eBay. But sometimes it's just good to give it to somebody who's in need because they can use it right away. And that reuses stuff. It gives it multi-purpose, and it also has a second life with somebody else. So I love this, Dana. I love this so much, what the city of Whitby's doing. So if anybody's around Whitby today on this Saturday, go check it out on the tip from Dana. Awesome stuff. Trevor J saying, be careful of who and what you let into your house. Be aware. If it's an animal, don't let it in your house. How about that? I mean, also, some people probably shouldn't be coming in your house. I've learned that lesson a couple tough ways. One thing about me that's interesting is being a middle-aged man, I've had more roommates than the average person. Let's just put it that way. I've lived in a lot of like shared housing situations. And I could tell you, I've probably had at least 200 roommates in my entire life. Most people will probably have under 50. But I've lived with all kinds of different people. Let's just put it that way. I've lived with every type of person you live with, young, old, black, white, every single kind of group you could think of. I've lived with a person from that group. And I'll tell you what, I've lived with some very awful roommates. Yeah, ones where I've gotten in fights with that the police have had to come and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying, Trevor. Be careful of who you let in. But sometimes you're in a situation where you're going to be in a bad situation with that's not comfortable with bad roommates or bad situations like that, try and rectify it. Your life's short and you don't want to get involved in a situation that's not fun or stressful and just not a good situation for you to live in. So if you can avoid that, that's good. But also, if you have guests, if they're not very good guests, well, don't invite them back. Isaac Campbell has got Alvin on blast. I love that Tom is so swift with the emotes that he has Alvin Williams installed this morning for the Share the Love Club for Alvin. I don't know. Maybe he'll do this for these Share Love Clubs if he knows who's coming up. I mean, we had Nav last week when we did Nav Bhatia. He showed up in the emotes all of a sudden. So Alvin's getting put on blast. A Boogie, we love you. Share the Love Club for Alvin Williams and all kinds of different reasons. Culture setter. Amazing color commentator for us on Sportsnet right now. We really love the job you did for the FIBA World Cup. Listen, that's another thing. Alvin's not Canadian. Why would he cover this World Cup for Canada and do it the way he did? In some ways, he's honorarily Canadian. I don't know if he ever got his citizenship, but he's an American guy from Philadelphia, but he's covering the Canadian team for Sportsnet at FIBA World Cup. That's amazing. That's awesome. And that is an international competition. That's a big deal. So it looks good on his resume also. But yeah, I'm proud of Alvin. And honestly, if there's somebody I know who's going to be loyal, true to the Raptors for the rest of his life, it's Alvin Williams. He'll always have time for Raptor fans and time to spend in Toronto. And that's amazing. Honestly, it really, really is amazing. There's a recent report that Trevor J posted in the Raptor Freak Family post group yesterday about Norman Powell's comments on the difference for playing with the Raptors and the Clippers. And he said it's basically this. On the Clippers, you're anonymous. You can walk around LA. There's so many famous people, and there's the Lakers. Nobody cares about you. Nobody messes with you. Nobody talks to you. But up in Canada, if you're in Toronto, yeah, for sure. They'll come up to you and talk to you because they'll see, it's the Raptor. And then even if you go across the country, specifically said Vancouver, you'll get mobbed because Canadian people are like, oh, it's a Raptor. It's a Raptor. And he said in some ways he didn't like that as much as he likes living anonymously in LA for the Clippers. I get that, Norman. He's saying, don't get me wrong. I did really like being on the Raptors. And I did not want to get traded. I was not happy when I got traded for Gary Trent Jr. But that is something that I don't miss, is living on Canada's side and getting mobbed and recognized by fans, because it doesn't happen to me anymore like this. Norman's not really good at media. I'm realizing this. He says a lot of dumb stuff that in some ways can be misinterpreted. In some ways, Norman, I get it. You want to have a more normal life and stuff like that, but you're schlub, nobody in LA, and you were a king in Canada. I mean, that may be part of what hurts about it. But yeah, he didn't like that, apparently, being mobbed or being famous. He just wanted to be left alone. Well, I get it. But in some ways, it is what it is. I mean, you're nobody in LA. It's funny. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying Alvin has gotten better with time. He now commands respect as a fantastic broadcaster, even though he looked like he could have helped us out last year when we met him at Real Sports. You wanted him to get on the court and help the Raptors. That Indiana game we went to, Tom, was messed up. I take that as a Nick Nurse confusion game, because I was confused why we were losing to the Pacers on that day. And I think it had something to do with Nick Nurse confusion or something like that, at least at that time in the season. I agree. Alvin's gotten better and better. His first year was a little shaky. He had to work on his verbal delivery. He had to kind of work on not sounding crazy. He's cleaned it up. He does use jargon and stuff like that still, but in some ways he doesn't sound stupid when he does it. And he's also gotten better at timing with the person he's announcing with. You got to know when to go and when not to go. If you're in a 2-man booth or a 2-person booth, you need to be able to work with Matt Devlin and say, all right, you're green light, I'm red light, green light, you're red light, and really play off each other so it's smooth. And you know when the other person's going to talk, so you shut up so the other person can talk. That's really the main art to calling a game, is not stepping on each other's toes and flowing effortlessly and working with each other, listening to the other person and working off of each other. And he's gotten better and better. Matt's been a great help to him, obviously, but also just, Alvin's putting in that work. Just like an NBA player would put in work on the court to get better as a player. Well, Alvin's putting in that work as an announcer. and getting better and better at that. So it was awesome, Tom, when we met him. So awesome. And Tom's saying happy Saturday to everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm out at the cottage, obviously, and I'm inside because it is a little chillier, but I still didn't want to rob y'all of the views, although it looks like it's too sunny to really kind of take a good look outside. It is what it is. Yeah, Isaac Campbell has got me and Justin Beaver and a can of 100% Canadian maple syrup there. I see what you got there, Isaac. Cowboys saying good morning, Lex, Bam, and Raptor Freaks. Let's go, Mo. And Alvin. That's right. Alvin Williams is the bomb, according to Bradley. It's always good to see my friend Tada, the Canadian cowboy. Tom Duke saying, onions, baby, onions or salami and cheese. I got faith Alvin can create his own catchphrase that will stick around. Alvin has such a unique viewpoint knowledge to have when watching any game. Yeah, Tom. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy Alvin doing it, because it is a rite of passage to show an age. Once again, he's a marker for our Raptors culture, as far as he's really one of the first successful former players to go in the broadcast booth and be our play-by-play or color announcer. And that's a big deal. Like, honestly, every team wants to have a former great from their team come back and be in the announcing booth and give that insider perspective from times before in the franchise's history. And he fits that to a T. Because honestly, he was in one of the most exciting eras of the Raptors with Vince Carter when we were first breaking through into the playoffs, and all the highlights and his knowledge and stories from that time of his teammates and different things that happened around that time is such a treasure. So getting to hear Alvin's perspective with his stories from the past and playing alongside people like Charles Oakley, Muggsy Bogues, Del Curry, Mark Jackson, and Vince Carter, it's huge. It's huge. And it really does flesh it out. You know, in some ways, him being in the announcing booth, it shows we're arriving with more history and time passing. And that's important. We needed a former Raptor in the broadcast booth calling it, not a former coach Raptor like Sam Mitchell. No, a former player that was actually out there. And he is that guy. So in some ways, once again, Alvin is an important culture builder for our team and our franchise, and partly because he's our first player broadcaster. You know, Gary Trent Sr. is another one of these guys that added to our culture with his son playing for us. The legacies of the Trent family being on the Raptors is a huge culture builder for Raptors culture. In some ways, Gary Trent Jr.'s bond with the Raptors is stronger because his father played for our team also. That's a huge thing. And that's what we want more and more of as we go forward, Raptor Freaks. We want more Raptors culture built around our team. In some ways, our little group and what we're doing on YouTube every morning is part of that culture we're starting to build. So that's what I'm all about. Our team, as more time goes on, we need more proud culture and heritage for our team in history. And man, I thank Alvin, I thank Gary Trent Sr. and people like that for being part of that culture. So I'm all about it. Yeah, let's go. Evelyn's here. Good to see Granny Evelyn. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Are my kiddos behaving well? Awesome weather walking around the block with Prince Toussaint. That's the name of your dog, Prince Toussaint? I bet that dog is so cute. And probably, I don't know if it's well mannered. It may be a little brat, but it may be just so cute that it doesn't matter. It gets away with it. I don't know. Prince Toussaint. That's awesome. I love that. She has a dog named Prince Toussaint. And more I learn about Granny Evelyn and everything. Oh, it's awesome. I bet Prince Toussaint and Baby Candace are quite the mischief tag team. I'll bet they are, Evelyn. All right, let's see. Isaac Campbell is saying Raptors, Alvin Williams, Raptors, Alvin Williams, Raptors, Alvin Williams, King, Scholar, and Saturday Night Fever. That's right, Isaac. I love it. Fiercely saying good morning and happy Saturday, fam. So nice to see someone of that magnitude sincerely embracing Toronto, a real one. That was the one thing I would say about Alvin way back. I sensed it about him. There was something different about how he treated our team than any other player that showed up to play for us before. I was so used to just a general, like, certain level of disrespect for our team that even the players on our team weren't totally like thrilled about being on the team. Trust me, Alvin was different. There was something about that. There was a real authentic pride that shone through him, even though there was no reason necessarily for him to be too proud of being a Raptor. And that's what I really loved about him. I sensed it in him first. And it was a big deal. It really was a big deal. And honestly, seriously, him turning his back on Philly for us is a huge deal. And Philadelphia, he is not the legend he could be, partly. He is in some circles, and they do still very much celebrate him in Germantown. But in other parts of Philly, he's a pariah, a turncoat. And especially during that series when we killed Philadelphia with Kawhi's shot, yeah, they hated. They hated everybody from Philadelphia that was on that team. Kyle Lowry, Alvin Williams. Yeah, he turned his back on his home city for Toronto. And in some ways, you gotta really love and respect that as a Toronto Raptors fan. Seriously, seriously. Yeah, there you go. Fiercey's got Alvin on blast. I love it. Stargate is here. Stargate saying little fun fact about Alvin. He is a very good friends with Rasheed Wallace. They grew up together playing ball in the area. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I do remember hearing about that about Rasheed and Alvin being friends. And sometimes he'll tell stories about Rasheed Wallace here and there. Of course, Rasheed Wallace is such an interesting history in the NBA with technicals and being a pariah, and in some ways getting like blackballed and kicked out of the league at a certain point. He was leading the league in technicals for a while, and yeah, just he was a hothead and an interesting player, a very intense player, really passionate player, but also could be a problem for your team. Really could. And Stargate saying, "Oh, sorry. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. No problem, Stargate. We know you're going to say good morning. It doesn't. It's not official. Everybody says it, but we don't have to. Just come on in. Come in hot with a take, and that's all I need." Kareem saying, "Does Alvin live in Toronto or Philly? Such a class act guy. It's not totally clear. I think he splits time between the two. Obviously, during the winter, he's here in Toronto because he has to be around the team. But I don't know. During the summer, well, he was here for Sportsnet. I'll bet you his house primary residence is in Toronto, but I'll bet you he still has a house in Philly. And it may be that that house is where his mom and other people are living or something. Who knows? I don't know for sure what's going on with Alvin as far as the living arrangement, but we do know primarily during the year he's here in Toronto, if not traveling with the Raptors team to broadcast games. So I don't know for sure. I'll bet you he has a house in both cities. Let's see. Good to see you, Kareem. Cowboys saying good morning, Granny Swag. Walking around with the Toronto swag always. Granny is swagged out. She has made sure I'm swagged out today. I've been wearing this hoodie all week. I know. It's like the only warm clothes I've worn this week. I didn't bring my jacket. What an idiot. You can go out in the cold countryside. You don't even bring a jacket. All you bring is a hoodie, Lex. What's wrong with you? Not good preparation, I guess. Let's see. Monique is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. The fun Matt and Alvin have at the broadcast booth is hilarious at times when I'm watching from home when they're on the or when they're on the road. Yeah, they are hilarious at times. I love how fun Matt Devlin is. If Matt Devlin was more uptight and kind of like serious and professional, I wouldn't like him as much. The fact that he can be a little goofy and a little fun, but also extremely professional and very much the top of a professional kind of like sound to him. But at any given moment, he could be giggling like a little schoolgirl. There's nothing wrong with that. I love that brevity, levity, I guess I should say, of things between them. And Jack's also the same with their partnership. Matt and Jack. We'll do Jack Armstrong for Saturday Share Love Club too in the coming weeks before the season starts. But yeah, they're a fun team, and I love seeing them grow together as a pair and their chemistry. Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams. Tom Duke saying at Mo, 100% Mo. Matt Devlin and the boys respect and enjoy Boogie being on board. Young stallion in the stable of Raptors broadcasting. The Pacers game summed up our season. Tom, giving him some glowing words there. Alvin is up and coming and he's doing great. And I just want to continue to hear him call the games. Leo's injury opened the door up for Alvin to get that spot, and he jumped on it and he got it. And Leo's great in his new role, and I'm glad Leo's not putting more miles on his body in a plane, because that really is the big reason why Leo stepped down, is because flying for him became very painful, and going all over the country with the team was not good for him. Well, opportunity for Alvin, get Alvin in there. In some ways, Leo was that high-standing Canadian international FIBA player that had that resume there. And that was great from the start of the history of the Raptors, because he's done Raptor games since the beginning. But now we have a Raptor who played for the Raptors, who can step in and do that job at this point. And in some ways, that's more informative than Leo Rowtins, who was a great Canadian legend in basketball, did amazing things in international play. But it's not the same as having a former Raptor, a guy who actually played for the team, calling the game. Most teams will have a former player in the broadcast booth with them, whether Jeff Turner down in Orlando, Eddie Johnson for Phoenix, Ala Abdelnaby for Philadelphia, Scalabrini for the Celtics. There's former players in the booth for their specific team. And the Raptors were one of the last teams that needed to get a former player in there in the announce booth calling the games for us. So that is a check mark for culture. A former player in the broadcast booth. That's right. There you go. There you go. That Pacers game was annoying, Tom. I felt so bad because I really wanted them to win the game that you were in town. But the confusion of Nick Nurse's year last year and the weirdness on our team just showed its head in that game against the Indiana Pacers that day that we went. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's see. We got a gifted membership by somebody. So if somebody want to get that membership, go get it. That's what I'm saying. G's saying good morning. Alvin kept at it and has become a very good commentator. Great example for people to see. Even if at first you struggle, ignore the noise and keep going. I love that, G. You're right. And, it's tough to do this way, partly because you're totally publicly watched at every step of whether you're getting better or not. And your miscues and your mistakes get thrown on blast because they're watched by millions of people while they're watching the game. So that can't be easy. And you're right. You're exactly right. If you keep at it, you practice and you are diligent and you try, you will get better and better. And Alvin is a testament to that. You're right. G saying Butler came here to go to a country singers concert, then ended up at Paris, Texas, a sports country bar on King for his birthday, our practice facility in Drake's house with a new hairdo. Yeah, Jimmy Butler spending his birthday time. He was at a Morgan Wallen country concert here in Toronto this past week. But, listen, I remember Jimmy saying this in an interview that he loves Toronto, that he thinks Toronto is a really awesome city. And I even remember in the interview, he said, I'm going to come and spend some more extra time here in the off season because I love it here. And I think that's what this is right now. I think we're, over interpreting things yesterday a little bit. I think he's pretty well ensconced in the heat and things. Chev's going off on his channel about whether this is right that we opened our doors and let him practice at our practice facility in Toronto. And I kind of see what he's saying, but in some ways I'm like, yeah, we don't need to be dicks like other organizations have been to people about this. In some ways, we show good favor to Jimmy Butler right now. That may help us in the future somehow, some way. Maybe not specifically with Jimmy Butler, but maybe with another player that's very important that they may be like, wow, Raptors are so nice. They let me come down and be at their practice facility. I don't play for them. In some ways, being gracious and offering is sometimes better than being stingy and being an asshole. So in some ways, I commend the Raptors for opening the doors. I didn't see any of our people working with him. He just wants to go and shoot. Well, he went there, and then he went to Drake's house the next day, and he's seen shooting at Drake's house next. Jimmy said he loves Toronto. He does, and he wanted to spend some extra time in the offseason. The other factor is Miami sucks right now, partly because of the politics. Jimmy Butler probably doesn't really like Ron DeSantis, and in some ways, you don't want to spend money somewhere where things are kind of gross. And despite that, he has to play for the Miami Heat. So in some ways, Florida is getting grosser and grosser. I'm not surprised that Jimmy Butler's spending his offseason in Canada because Florida sucks. It really does. I mean, if you're going down there for Remy training, Gary Trent Jr., that's fine. Scotty, you got to go home and spend time with your family. That's fine. Pascal, you got a Florida house that you bought during the Tampa season. You got to go check on it. That's fine. But overall, Florida sucks. Let's just put it that way. You may go down there for Disney World. You may go down there for sunshine and beaches, but it sucks. Let's just put it that way. Living in Florida right now sucks, and you don't want to be there. And that's why Jimmy Butler's in Toronto right now. Yeah. Jimmy's got such an eclectic taste. Like he went to this Morgan Wallen concert, and then he's like going to like the U.S. Open tennis, and he's being a ball boy, and he's been doing all kinds of weird stuff this summer. Really, really weird. Cowboys saying, when's the draft again? You're talking about our fantasy draft. Well, I haven't set a date for that, Cowboy. We've got a long time before the season. We've got all of preseason, so I'm not in a rush with this. I want to fill up the leagues, and then we'll get a draft date set up. We'll kind of talk about it. It'll probably be at 9:30 at one of these streams we do in the morning. So be like last year. It could very well be we do a Sunday special report before the preseason, and we're doing it on a Sunday morning at 9:30 in the morning. So that's what I'll guess. Amit Gaming is here. Good to see Amit the GOAT checking in with us on an off day other than Tuesday. Great to see you, Amit. He's got Dennis and OG and Scotty and Pascal and Pirtle, our starting lineup up there. Morning, y'all. How y'all doing? Good, Amit. Good to see you. Hope your high school's starting off very well and things are great over there in Israel for you. Yeah. Kareem's saying, let's see, what is Kareem Thomas saying here? Ball don't lie, Rashid. Yeah, he's awesome, man. You know what? Rasheed Wallace could pull the whole strings apart on the Tim Donaghy thing. In fact, he did in the podcast about the Donaghy scandal. Rasheed Wallace is interviewed heavily in it and talking about his feud with Tim Donaghy, the reasons why he got technicals all the time, partly the way the refs hated him, and also him knowing that the refs were crooked and talking about all that kind of stuff. Rasheed Wallace would be very interesting to sit down and listen to talk about NBA referees and exactly what they're up to because he knows a lot. He does. Fiercely saying, I have family who live near Germantown, most of them in North Philly, and my aunt in West Philly. I used to enjoy going down there, but I now try to visit other cities, either Canada or US. You know, I've heard sad things about Philadelphia in certain things. The Kensington area is very dangerous and full of drugs and problems. You know, in some ways, the cities in the United States are mistreated because there's a lot of weird stuff. And in some ways, I don't want to get into it right now. But yeah, it's too bad. Like, it's too bad. In some ways, Philadelphia is a nice city, but in some ways, it's also not a nice city. And somewhere you may need to avoid some areas in that city also. I don't blame you, Fiercey. Maybe it's better off to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, or some other areas like Pittsburgh, even, or I don't know, other country cities in Canada. Sure. Yeah, that's too bad. But you have family there. Germantown is where Alvin's from. So that is very much, you know, Fiercey's got ties where Alvin's got ties. Amit's saying, I like it being cold, and I live in a country where it's 20 plus degrees, 11 to 12 months a year. That's crazy. This guy is living in a nice, hot, temperate climate, and he wants the cold air like here in Toronto, in Canada. Well, someday, Amit, you grow up and you can make your decisions as an adult. Well, you decide where you get to live at some point. So maybe you want to think about that. You know, if there's one thing I could give advice to young people, is kind of make designs about what you want for the future. Have some goals and have some ideas about what would be cool about what you would like to live. The earlier you can figure that stuff out and try stuff, and if you don't like it, you can change it. So in some ways, it's good to be daring and try stuff when you're younger, when you get the chances, and you don't have as much roots down in the ground in certain ways, whether it's a spouse or a mortgage or a full-time job that you can't move from. So as you're young, Amit, figure out what you want to do and, you know, make some goals. And who knows, maybe you'll live back in Canada. Maybe you'll still stay in Israel. I don't know. You have to make the decisions for yourself. Tom Duke is all right. MK gifted the membership. Thank you, Meredith. That's awesome. And Bo Evine has taken the membership. Bo Evine. Not making fun of your name. I'm just saying that's what it is. Bo Ivine. Welcome to you. Welcome to membership. If you want to join our Facebook group, you'll have instructions on how to do that as a new member of the Raptor Freak channel. A W to you, Amit Gaming. Leslie saying, hello, Raptor Freak family. Boogie was one of the best guards we ever had. I enjoy watching him and glad that he is still here. Yeah, in some ways, it's not that he was the best. It's not that he was the most talented. He was just really solid. And he did what he could with what he had. In some ways, he would tell you, I'm not the most athletic, most crazy, talented NBA player, but look at my career. He did pretty good. He did pretty good. He's not an all-star. In some ways, he wasn't a starter his whole career, but he was still a very impactful player in the Raptors' history that we celebrate and love so much. And that may be part of it. He had his glory days here. He's like, well, my glory days are here. I need to go towards it. Kawhi was like, man, I have this whole country on my finger, and I'm going to leave. Meanwhile, Alvin was like, you know what? These people really are celebrating me for my accomplishments and great things I did for the Raptors. I want to stick around. So he's like the anti Kawhi in some ways, Alvin Williams. I think that's a good way of putting it. Anti Kawhi, like the opposite of what Kawhi was. So it's very, very good. And I love you, Leslie. And good to see you this morning. All right, let's see what else is going on this morning with you guys. MK is saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. I've gotten 2 free months of gifted memberships. I had to pay it forward. There you go. MK has gotten gifted memberships and now wants to give gifted memberships to other people. That's what we're all about. Paying it forward, giving it back. And thank you, Meredith. You're awesome. I'm gonna get that whistle mailed to you next week. I'm still out here, as you can see, but I'll be going back soon. Isaac saying W at MK. That's right. Awesome stuff, MK. MK, our WNBA fantasy champion. Yeah, that sounds good. I love putting the accolades on people like MK right now. David, Raptor Freak trivia champion. MK, WNBA champion. Duke Rocks, NBA fantasy champion. You know, you guys are going to get these awards as you accomplish them and you get those titles like the benevolent Isaac Campbell. That's right. W. That's right. Tom Duke has got recycling gifts. Yeah, that's a good thing what Whitby's doing. If you have stuff that you can't use, well, some people just put it on the side of the road and people walk up and they take it and say, oh, I could use that container. That would go really good for my mealy worms that I collect. You know, something like that. I don't know. We had old books here at the cottage that we needed to get rid of. And they just happened to have a book drive at the bank when my dad went there the other day. And he dropped off a bunch of free books for them. We don't need them. Here you go. You know, and stuff like that. Put an old bike on the side of the street. Somebody comes and gets it. They can use it. There you go. G saying off topic, but the WNBA game where Dallas came back being 20 points down, I hear was amazing. Satu from Germany with 32 points will bring more attention to the WNBA. I know this is who MK was glowing about. That they had them on their fantasy team this year and was a big key to why Meredith won with this team is Satu and just was in awe of her and what she was doing. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't watch the game, but I heard Trevor J's kind of updates in our chat, and he's been really good about updating us on the WNBA playoffs right now. I appreciate this, Trevor, honestly. In some ways, I don't see it anywhere other than from you, not on the press or the media or even on ESPN's website. So seeing it from you is good. And thank you, Trevor. But yeah, go WNBA. Kick butt with your playoffs, hopefully more viewership, more excitement, and more people drawn into getting into it. That's what we want for the WNBA. You come to Toronto, you'll get us. That's all you got to do. WNBA, you come to Toronto, you get the Raptor Freak family in full effect supporting that team. You will get them. That's right. Wayne Strainer is saying, what's our training and preseason schedule? That new competitive competition schedule as well. When does the game start? Okay, Wayne. I'll break this down one by one. October is when we're going to start our training camp, pretty much in the first week of October. So they still got 2 weeks off. So they'll start convening in Toronto around the 1st or 2nd. I don't know exactly when. It'll probably be a Monday, the first Monday of October. And they'll get together and kind of get together for meetings in Toronto, a little bit of working out here. And then they'll get on a plane and fly to BC and start training camps. So this will be right at the beginning of October. Our first game in October will be in the first week in Vancouver against the Sacramento Kings. So the first preseason game is like, I don't know, the 5th or the 8th or something like that. So it's kind of like that's it's the 8th. Monique's got it right there. The first preseason game is on the 8th. And then the preseason will run till almost the middle of October. We'll take a little bit of time off, and then we'll start the season here in Toronto against Minnesota on the 25th. Thank you, Monique, for the dates. I'm reading ahead off your comment. So, yeah, that's when the games will start. We'll have our first preseason on the 8th of October and the first regular season on the 25th. So lots of Raptors content coming at you fast for real stuff coming up in October. A couple of weeks, I've got to fudge stuff together still. Tomorrow, we'll do an explanation about the new resting rules that they've implemented to stop load management. I'll have a Sunday special report on that tomorrow. And the in-season tournament is all in November. So when we get these in-season tournament games, the new competition, that'll all happen in the middle of November. and there'll be 4 of them, only 4 of them. There's some crows flying around behind me there. Ahmet's saying, I need 850 points to tie with Fiercey on Tuesday. He's already added it all up. He's got Toronto's area code. Or no, that's Tallahassee's area code, 850. That's the Florida area code. Yeah, okay. You need that much to tie with Fiercey? Well, Fiercey might have to keep adding some water in that jug to keep you running up. She adds points. You got more points to get. All right. Thank you, Monique, for clarifying the dates for Wayne. Nameless is saying, laugh out loud at people making a big deal over Butler in our facility. He was on vacation. He's a multimillionaire and a current player. He can have that place to himself every day of the week. I don't know about that, Nameless. In some ways, there are rules about organizations. He's literally in our building. He's not at OVO. He's in the Scotiabank Arena upstairs. In fact, maybe that's the difference. Maybe he couldn't be at OVO, but he could be at the practice facility, because in some ways, there's a rule in the NBA that opposing teams have to be able to use a practice court before games. That's just part of the gamemanship, like rules, that you can't be stingy, Celtics, and say, oh, there's no practice court for you Raptors when you come up here. No, you have to facilitate one for them. And now it's the off season. It's not an official thing. Maybe they're just relaxing things a little bit. I don't know. It could very well be Jimmy Butler has talked to Masai Ujiri. Masai's like, you know what, Jimmy, I like you. You come and use our practice court. I don't care. And Jimmy's like, you know what, Masai, Kyle was right. You're awesome. It could be as easy as that. That kind of stuff is good for us. Trust me, Jimmy Butler working out at the Raptors practice facility is not a bad thing. People will try and slice it one way or the other, but it isn't. It's a good thing. If we can ingratiate, I know he's getting older and he's getting near the end of his career, but it's still good in certain ways. Even if it doesn't work out with Jimmy, who knows? Maybe somebody else will show up. I like him being out at Drake's house better than downtown at our arena, though. I will say that. MK saying, that's so true, G. It's mind-blowing how good Satu has been playing this year. The Dallas crowd was so loud. That's awesome. I love to hear, we got more enthusiastic about WNBA, and we actually have favorite players and teams that we kind of like, the people that played. That's awesome. That's what we were trying to do. And it seems like we were successful in at least getting some of us into the WNBA in a major way. That's awesome, Meredith. I love that. Fiercely saying both Liberty and the Wings won. So her favorite teams won yesterday. She's very happy about that. I guess it's the quarterfinals because the Aces are still in. So we'll have to see. Yeah. Let's see. Cowboys saying the subway is out of service between Ossington and Broadview. So I'm listening from Christie Pitts Park, and the sun is shining. Let's go. Got to jump on the shuttle bus soon. Bradley, be safe traveling around. I know somebody got stabbed in the Christie Pitts Park last night. So you may see some police tape over there somewhere around there. I don't know. There's been weird little moments of violence around the city here and there. So if you're around the city in Toronto on TTC or in public places, I'll give you words of warning. Just be aware of all your surroundings. Don't get near anybody who looks like they're crazy. Seriously. If you see somebody walking up to you and they're talking to themselves, or anybody's being a little bit weird, just stay away from them. Give them some distance and definitely don't engage with them. In some ways, they say don't make eye contact with certain things. And yeah, that's a good idea, because there are weird things going on around the city where random crazy people are just stabbing people out of the blue or doing weird stuff. I don't want to scare y'all to come to Toronto. It's a very safe city, but there are isolated incidents of violence that are going on daily around the city in different places. So if you are out there in the city, my best advice for you is to stay aware of your surroundings and the people around you at all times. And if you see you get a weird feeling about somebody, go the other direction. Let's just put it that way. It's a smart thing to do. Trust me. Now, the great thing about the city is there's usually a lot of people around no matter what. And there's always help. So, just be smart. Be street smart. There's a little bit of street smart there. MK saying, I'm with Fiercey. Go Liberty and go Wings. Yeah, I'll go for the New York Liberty. I don't want Las Vegas to win. Yeah, I want somebody other than Vegas to win this year. That's right. G's saying, I have not been really following the WNBA because I didn't do fantasy and we don't have a team. But watching her highlights and swag, wouldn't be surprised if she becomes a face of the NBA soon. Sato. Well, listen to this. Sabrina came out with new shoes yesterday. They're quite slick. They're kind of like cream white, off white. And this is the cool thing. Listen, she has her own signature shoe, and what I'm hearing is it's not just women that are buying the shoe. Men are interested in buying the shoe because of the style. That's very interesting to me. Like in some ways, that is a big deal that men would want to buy the Sabrina shoe and wear it and play in it. That is a huge, huge big deal for gender things and stuff like that. That young males would want to go buy Sabrina's signature shoe and play in it because they seen what she's done with her great shooting threes and scoring, and they want to be like her. That's awesome. That is really awesome. That 3-point shooting contest that she did this year really made her look good. Really, really made her look good. Let's see what else you guys are saying. G saying makes me want to watch more with you, Fiercey. Go Liberty and Wings. Yeah, well, we'll definitely be watching. If you give us a team up here, we will watch every single Toronto WNBA game. Yes, we will. Kareem Thomas saying, I wasn't a big fan on Chev's take, but when he brought up our 72-game away season, we shouldn't be catering to anybody as a big fuck you to the NBA. The NBA never helped us out. Season blackballed. All right, I get this take. And in some ways, you're showing pain from the Tampa season still. In some ways, we're better than that. In some ways, we're the team that can take the detriment. And we're, those kind of people that I'm talking about. They may be slighted, but they have such a kind heart. They turn around and say, here, look, I get that. I get that. In some ways, I'm learning something from watching Star Wars movies again. Fear is the thing that will do you in. And if you have fears or worries about things, that is the road to destruction. So in some ways, just be strongly confident and just be like, I don't care. Jimmy Butler's at our practice facility. Who cares? What is he going to find out? He's going to come up to the NOAA system or find some piece of paper on the ground. He's like, oh my gosh. And then we have to sue him like the Knicks sued us. I don't know. I mean, this isn't a big deal. It's just a hoop in a building. And we're being nice to him. It's not like our guys are trying to be in there overly. They're probably down at OVO separated from him. So I don't know. In some ways, Chev is being funny. And he's really good at getting takes and times 10ing them and putting them on blast in big ways. I get his mentality, and the old me may have gone with him. But at this point, in some ways, diplomacy and niceness may get you far. Sugar could get you further than salt in this case, is what I'm thinking. That even if it doesn't work with Jimmy, other players may see this and be like, oh, Toronto's cool. And like, maybe they'll let me come here. And then they're like, oh, you know what? I really like this facility. And then all of a sudden, a really good player's on our team because of showing good favor and being a good Samaritan, like we're talking about right now. So I don't know. I can see both sides of this. The old me was very tribal and being like, no, a Miami Heat player can't be in our practice court. What is this? The old me would be like that. But I'm older and wiser to a degree. And I understand that maybe there's a long play to this. How about that? I don't know. And sure, we could be bitter and upset about Tampa and hold a grudge, but that's the past. I live in the present, and we weathered that storm, and I'm proud of that. But you're right. Nobody helped us in that situation to a degree. But whatever, we're bigger and badder and better than that. And that's why we are who we are. I love it. I love it. Amit's saying, I liked Breonna Stewart since she was drafted in 2016. Also like Sabrina Ionescu since she was drafted. I even have a Sabrina jersey. Forgot to bring it Sharpie so she could sign it. That's right. It was Brianna who did the 3-point shooting, but Sabrina's really the scorer. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, this is great. A young guy like Amit is interested in the WNBA just as much as the NBA. That is fantastic. The kids, the younger people, the kids, the high school kids like Amit, they're the ones who are shaping the new what is cool and what people are into. And the more that they don't look at the NBA or WNBA as being like, something in competition and something you can support both in the same way is great. And that's some conditioning changes from like people in my generation that may be a little bit more misogynist and chauvinist and be like, yeah, the NBA, WNBA is whatever. What the young people are like, well, the WNBA is cool and it is something worthwhile to watch. That's great. And I love hearing that from somebody like Ahmed because that matters more in some ways than somebody like me saying, yeah, the WNBA sucks. Not that I would say that, but somebody my age or somebody like me would say that. Yeah, WNBA sucks. Well, the young people like it. Well, the future will be bright. That's what matters. Most saying that Mo Pete did well with TSN before. Never forget. Yeah, I know. And I know you're a huge fan. I love Mo too. I mean, we have the same birthday. There's a lot about Mo Morris that I like, but he was not that good on the broadcast. I'm just going to be honest here. I know that Alvin had his stumbling blocks in the beginning himself, but not like Morris did. In some ways, Morris had some problems. Now, Morris is another one of these culture guys. I know I was talking about this earlier. In some ways, his longevity on the Raptors has been huge and was a big deal. But the part of the problem with Morris is since he's retired, he'll come back every once in a while. He's completely friendly with us, and he's definitely Raptors family, but he's not so prominent and visible as a Raptor legend and being around the team. Sure, he'll show up from time to time and wave to the crowd, and he's still in very much good graces and stuff. What I'm saying is Alvin has very been like prominent and he's been around and just like always, whether it was as a coach or in Sportsnet just as an analyst and stuff like that. And that may be not Morris's fault because his broadcasting career didn't really take off. But in some ways, they are similar. I will agree that Morris was kind of like the second loyal Raptor in the early days, along with Alvin. But he came after Alvin. Alvin was the first one, but Morris definitely was our Iron Man. Played a lot of games for us, and was with our team between Carter to Bosch, and was he was a very stable kind of culture person for us for sure. I should give him credit too, along with Alvin and Gary Trent Sr. as being culture builders for the Toronto Raptors. Now, he got traded to the Hornets near the end of his career, and he was in New Orleans for a while, and he played even longer in the league for different teams. But, Morris is still a very well-regarded Raptor, but in some ways he's not really in the forefront of Raptor stuff at this point. Sure, we have a big head mascot of him that comes out with Muggsy and JYD and stuff like that. But in some ways, I don't know. Maybe we need Morris to show up more. I want to see him at more games this year. How about that? But yeah, Mo's definitely something we need to bring up, Morris, for sure. Trevor J saying, I watched all the WNBA games on ESPN Plus, and I will give you the updates, guys. All right. Trevor J he's one of our WNBA watchers that will keep us updated on that. That's awesome. Tom's saying, right on, Trevor. It's great. Thanks, Commissioner J. That's right. I'm saying also, I started watching WNBA when I found out Bill Laimbeer was the coach of Vegas, and now I'm a WNBA fan. Yeah, that's interesting that Bill Laimbeer was your gateway to the WNBA. That's awesome in some ways. I love that. He did really well as a coach in the WNBA for sure. Michael Cooper, another great NBA player that coached in the WNBA for quite a while too. MK saying, that's awesome, Ahmed. I really want a white Marina Mabry Chicago Sky jersey, but I can't find it anywhere. Well, hopefully we can find this stuff. And the other thing people want to find are Team Canada jerseys. Team Canada coming out with this report that they upped the spending for the program, and that's part of the reason why they're doing better. I hate this. Are you saying you have to spend money to win in FIBA? Because that makes it sound crooked. If y'all need to make more money to support Team Canada and the things they're doing for basketball, sell the jerseys. Y'all are idiots. If you're really that hard up for cash, you need to put a Team Canada SGA, a Team Canada Dylan Brooks jersey out right now, and you will get so much revenue for Team Canada right now. So why are you not doing this? If y'all are complaining, Michael Bartlett, about the team needs even more money to support the team and getting better and better to be a power, we'll start selling those jerseys. Y'all are not doing that. And that would be a really easy, quick way to support this team in a major way. Maybe it's because you got to give a cut to the players that you sell for. Well, just do it. Give a cut to SGA. Give a cut to RJ Barrett. Give a cut to those guys and make some Team Canada jerseys because people want to buy them and put them on blast. And that's an easy revenue stream right there. Right there. That's right. Monique saying, IG watch. Dennis posts hits differently on his birthday. All right. Monique's calling out for the Raptors Instagram watch. We'll go ahead and do it just because she's calling it. We'll start with Slim Duck. He's got a riddle, y'all. Someone's mother has 4 sons, north, south, and east. What is the name of the 4th son? Message me the name of the 4th son. If you lose, you have to repost. I lost to Drew Smoothie. So I'm guessing, Chris, you wrote West and you lost. So what is the name of the 4th son? I don't know. It seems like this is kind of weird. 4 sons, north, south, and east. What is the name of the 4th son? I'm going to guess it's West. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know. Do y'all know the answer to this riddle? If you do, write it in, please. Also, Chris is, he went in the mud bath. And he's saying, if you come in the cage with me, I'm going to mess you up. He looks like a tribesman. Like, seriously. Like they will put the mud bath on and they will like put war paint on and stuff. That's what he looks like. Like he may be like an Aboriginal from like Australia or something like that. And it's awesome. He's getting all native in some ways. What he says is kind of scary. He's like, "You get in the cage with me, I'll mess you up," or something like that. It's hilarious. Chris getting that mud on his body, cleaning his body and his pores out, and looking cool while he's doing it. And the other guys are loving it. They were all liking and posting it because they think it's awesome what he's doing. So, Chris, yeah, you go. Terrence Mann put it on blast. He's saying, "Yes, my boy." Yes. All right. DeMar is all right. There's something going on with DeMar. Once again, y'all, this happens right around this time this year. And it may be an anniversary or something that he has a hard time dealing with. But DeMar has cut all of his Instagram and social media off and closed it. And he's posting messages like this right now. He's saying, "Give the world the best advice and wish I could give it myself." And he's in a rough space. Once again, I don't like seeing this. I don't know if this has something to do with him and his status with the Chicago Bulls, or if he's just dealing with old hurts and old feelings from tragedies in his past. I don't know. Whatever it is, DeMar, we're here for you as a fans of the Raptors and just a fan of yours for a long, long time, forever. And we hope you're just okay. We know your struggles with depression and mental health have been very, very open about it. And we just want you to weather this storm. Once again, I'll remind you, DeMar, and other people that may be suffering and dealing with things, this storm will pass. You just give it some time and hopefully it'll get by you and you'll be better than ever and stronger than ever. But yeah, keep your thoughts and prayers with DeMar DeRozan, as once again, it seems like he may have fallen into a state of depression. And we don't like hearing that about one of our GOATs, one of our greatest Raptors of all time. So yeah, we're thinking about you, DeMar. Marquise Noel is thanking Ronnie 2K on 2K because he made a face scan of him on the game. You can go look at it on his Instagram stories. It kind of looks like you, Marquise, but hey, good for you. You've got your own little NBA. It says that you're an NBA player now, too. That's the other thing. He's got the little symbol that shows that they're actually a real NBA player to the other players in the game. Scotty had it for a while last year, too. I remember. So Marquise has got the official NBA symbol above his head saying that he's an NBA player. And then also he's got the face scan of himself on there and he's thanking Ronnie 2K. He's also chilling with a mask on. I'm going to guess he's still in Toronto. And he's got a bottle of wine and he's in some restaurant and it says Mogul Talk. So he's out there talking to the wheelers and dealers, the big time people, and learning their secrets and stuff like that. He loves that kind of stuff. Nav Bhatia did not come straight home from Manila after after the World Cup. He went to India, actually. He went to go visit India, and he's being there on part of the NBA India, doing a lot of meeting with young people and fans of the NBA in India right now. He's saying what an amazing time going out there with an outreach as a super fan and increasing awareness and interest in the NBA in India. So you go, Nat Bhatia, and global ambassador for the NBA, not just the Raptors, and what he's doing over there in India right now. Looks like he was at a practice with a bunch of very tall Indian players playing basketball and stuff. So Nav is in India with NBA India putting on blast the league, the association. Good stuff. I love to see Nav doing stuff like that. Ron Harper Jr. is watching a game with Dylan in it. His brother Dylan is playing, and there's some sort of weird referee who's dressed up like a fireman. I don't know. The fireman is the referee? I don't know. Precious is on a boat, y'all. And not only is on a boat, this man is looking very strong with a glass of wine. Like you go look at the new pictures of Precious on this boat, and you're gonna be like, this guy's gonna be playing for us this season. This guy looks like a monster. He looks so strong. Seriously, Precious is looking very strong. He's dancing on the boat. He's got a Yankees hat on. Of course, he is from New York, so he does. That kind of pisses me off. But RJ's wearing the Blue Jays stuff this week, so it kind of balances. RJ's got Blue Jays stuff on. Precious got Yankee stuff on. It all balances. He is a New York guy, a Precious. We have to say that he did grow up there. But yeah, I don't know what he's taking these pictures for. He's like a thirst magnet for these women or something. You go look at Precious and his pictures, you're gonna see like his abs. You can see his abs, and it looks like he's probably somewhere in Florida. It looks like he may be off the coast of Florida in this boat that he's on. These guys have been on a lot of boats this year. I do like one picture in his Instagram stories is showing him working out, and he's got all the Raptors gears on, and he's stretching. So, Precious is putting in that work, also drinking glasses of wine on boats also. And the shot looks good with the way he's holding it in one picture, the way he's holding the ball, and it looks like it'll have good rotation. He's always had this straightforward like shot where he pushes through like this. The way Precious shoots is very straightforward through, and I like that. He really lets the ball sit really nicely right on the cup of his hand. Very straightforward shot Precious has, and that's good. It's not wonky or weird. Pascal putting his PS43 foundation on blast as per usual, and in Toronto in particular, he's got a little ad for it. Gotta love that. Pascal and the 43 Foundation is a big, big deal. Your boy Scotty's out riding around in a car with Cardi. It looks like they had the sunroof open. I'm not sure where he is, if he's in Toronto or in Florida, but he's definitely got his dog with him and he's riding around. And I don't know if that's his mom's car that he bought for his mom earlier this year or one of his cars up here, but not totally sure where Scott is. But he's definitely was in a car 15 hours ago with his dog riding around. I don't even know if he's driving. In some ways, it looks like he might have been in the passenger seat and filming him and the dog. I don't see Scotty driving very often. I know we saw him driving when he got his mom's car, but he was very hesitant about driving his mom's car and not wanting to wreck it or anything. So in some ways, I think Scott doesn't like driving because sometimes he worries about the responsibility of driving the car and messing up. I don't know. Dennis definitely was getting his birthday different. Monique, you were right. Lots of people saying happy birthday to him. First of all, we got Ellen. He's like, my love forever. Him and Ellen together in the Instagram stories. And there's a picture of them when they were younger. And holy cow, Ellen looks very different in that picture. Then we see him with the cup with all the people. And there's people giving him different thanks and happiness. Of course, Ellen's put on blast. She's saying, happy birthday to my love. Endless proud of you, hubby. Let's celebrate you today. What a great couple and what a great story. There he is blowing out his candles on Instagram. And then there's a picture of him with his mom on his birthday. Happy birthday, Dennis. Such a great birthday for you yesterday. There you are with the skateboard and one of the skateboard guys. There's a happy birthday with your picture. Austin Reeves with the freeze. Let's see who else is saying. Josh Richardson calling him his twin. Happy birthday to my twin, Dennis Schroeder. Happy birthday from Lou Dort to Dennis Schroeder on his Instagram stories. World champ. Happy birthday, my brother, from Lou Dort to Dennis Schroeder. I love that. I love seeing that. One of our Canada guys sending a happy birthday wish to Dennis. Who else was there sending them? Different people. Isaac Bonga, of course, sending him a birthday wish. And Dennis is very happy to put him reposted too. So Dennis is just having a dream month, honestly. MVP of the FIBA World Cup and Germany winning is just a dream, honestly. So this man's really coming in with some very, very high positive vibes. And hopefully these all contribute to the Raptors this season. And he carries it right on into the season. Really, really good stuff there. All right, let me make sure there's nothing else I want to check. Gary Trent Sr. was at a concert last night. It looks like it's 50 Cent. I'm not sure where that show was, whether it was in Toronto or somewhere else. You guys maybe find out where 50 Cent was playing. You'll know where Gary Trent Jr. is. I think it's not Toronto. I know for sure it's probably not Toronto. All right, I think that's it. I think that's the Raptors Instagram check right there. Scotty's in a car with Cardi. Precious is on a boat with a glass of wine. And Dennis had a fantastic birthday is basically what it was. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's your Instagram check. Thank you, Monique, for letting us know. Cowboys saying, Tom, are you going to the preseason game? Bam. I think what he said is he's not because it's super expensive and they didn't work it out. I don't know. We'll see. Amit saying at MK, WNBA jerseys are hard to find. I went to New York in August and went to the NBA store. That place is huge. They have every historic, current, and WNBA jersey you can think of. Wow, Amit, you saw a bunch of good jerseys there. That's awesome. You had such a good summer trip this summer, coming to Global Jam and then going to New York and meeting all those players that you met. Amit is just winning. Hello, Amit the GOAT, winning with his life. Yeah, Leslie saying ESPN has us at 12th. I feel like they don't watch the Raptors. Shh, let's keep this to ourselves. Hell no, we'll be a 4 or through 8 seed. Yeah, they have us 12th in the East. I wish it was 12th in the whole entire league. That would make more sense to me. They said 12th in the whole entire league. No, they're saying 12th in the East. That's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. You're pretty realistic there, Leslie. 4 through 8, I like that. I'd like it to be 5 or 6 or higher. If 4th would be great. but 5 or 6 at least. So yeah, we'll see how this all shakes out. There's a lot of games to be played, and they can say all they want. Reality is reality. It's gonna be different than what they think. I know it will be. I know it will be. Tom Duke saying, freaking no, it will be cheaper to watch a game in Toronto, considering time on a ferry to Vancouver and crazy ticket prices. Yeah, I can fly on my points, so why not come and be here with the freaks and freakettes in the 6? Yeah, at Cowboy. So in some ways, he's saying it would be cheaper for him to fly to Toronto and come see a game at Scotiabank than to go to the preseason game in Vancouver because of just how jacked up the prices are. So yeah, there you go. There's your answer, Cowboy. And we'll be very happy to welcome you back here in the 416, Tom, when you get back over here and come to the game with us. Yeah, yeah. Amit saying, repeat that? Can someone repeat? I wasn't listening. I don't know what I said that I need to repeat. You know how it is. I can't really figure out exactly when that was. Pull up. That's right, Tom Duke. But Tom Duke saying, I'm going to get me a mug in W this time. He wants to come back. He wants to join the Brotherhood of Mug Brothers. And then he also wants to get a W for the Raptors. He's got a checklist of accomplishments he needs to make sure happens when he comes. So one of them is going to be absconding a mug from Real Sports and taking it out into Jurassic Park. I don't know if we should make this a tradition, guys. We may be asking for it at some point. That's funny. MK saying, that's good to know, Amit. If I'm ever in New York, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, it's good to know that they have an archive of jerseys somewhere with everybody's. I bet you they have a Jean Tabak Raptors jersey there. That would be awesome if they do a Jean Tabak jersey. I want a Jean Tabak jersey, NBA store. Do you have that? How about an Oliver Miller? Do you have an Oliver Miller Raptors jersey? Please. There you go. Trevor J saying, I just found out from my boss that we're going to a WNBA game on Sunday. Holy crap, Trevor J. This is like the epitome of like blessings falling in our lap. Trevor J so diligently covering the WNBA games for us in the chat for us. And meanwhile, his boss has turned around and got tickets to a WNBA playoff game for them to go to. Winning. Once again, winning. Ahmed winning. Trevor J winning. Winning at life. That's right. Cowboys saying, laugh out loud. I'll be outside. They're too expensive for me in Toronto. Laugh out loud. You need an emoji so we, the freaks, can put you on blast. Talking to Tom Duke. Hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah, Tom, me, Mo, Alvin Williams. That's right. That's right. Bam, Cowboy, as usual. Fiercely saying, lucky you, Trevor J. Enjoy the game. That's going to be fun, Trevor. You're going to definitely have to come back and report to us the sights and sounds of a playoff WNBA game and how much fun you have at it. Who are you going to go see play, Trevor? I want to know which matchup you're going to see. Cowboys saying, yes, sir, bam. And he's saying, have a good time, Trevor. We're going to be winning a lot this season, winning and going deep in the playoffs. That's what I hope too. Yeah, we'll prove all these people wrong. They can think what they want to think with Nurse and Van Vliet leaving. Yeah, that's just a distraction. That's just something to make you think we're going to be down and out and not too happy or good this year. All our guys are living life and very happy. You can go to look at pictures of Scotty, Pascal, Precious, OG, Gary, and they are very happy people. Grady Dick, Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, we're coming. Y'all can act like y'all don't know, but you'll know when we show up. That's what you'll know. You'll know then. All right, there's something important I want to talk about real quick as an add-on here. There was a firing of Sergio Scariolo yesterday, and it's very, very interesting what happened. There was a press conference where Sergio made some comments that were derogative of his team, Virtuous, and the owner was not happy with what he said. So he was thinking about firing him. Well, there was a development where he got the opportunity to sign the Latvian coach from World Cup really quickly. So he fired Sergio yesterday and immediately hired the Latvian FIBA World Cup coach as a new coach of Virtus Bologna. Well, this is interesting because the coaches union of EuroLeague basketball coaches is standing up for Sergio, and they're going to fight this as a wrongful termination. This is this official statement coming from the head coaches board of EuroLeague. They were surprised to find out that founding member Sergio Scariolo was informed today by Virtus Bologna about the decision to unilaterally terminate his contract. The EHCB was created with the mission to protect not only the professional rights, but also the prestige of EuroLeague coaches after 7 of them were fired in a 3-month span just after the start of the 2018-19 season. These decisions made by those clubs motivated us to establish the EuroLeague Basketball Dispute Resolution Chamber in Switzerland, of course, together with EuroLeague Basketball. Virtus Bologna decided to fire their coach even before the start of the season. Every club has the right to make the decision it considers the best for its future, as it is with hiring and firing coaches when they decide. However, the EHCB believes that in this case, the decision showed unprecedented disrespect to a great professional that coached in the highest level a lot of years, as he is an Olympic finalist and a European and a world champion. Every contract has obligations and responsibilities, but also rights between both parties. And this is why we expect that Virtus Bologna will fulfill their obligations towards Sergio Scariolo. We stand by our member, Sergio Scariolo, and will support him with any means necessary. This is crazy. This is really weird. I mean, I was shocked when I heard that they fired him yesterday. But I mean, I guess things didn't go so well for them in the season. Who knows? The whole thing that we did with them this summer may not have benefited him. The Raptors reaching out to him and being a distraction at the end of the year while he's trying to make it in the playoffs in the Italian league. We're saying, hey, we need you to come interview. And we're flying over there and talking to him. And the Bologna people are kind of like, why are the Raptors coming to see you? Are you going to leave us? Well, they decided to fire him yesterday. And that's very interesting. And then no respect. They go ahead and hire a coach immediately right away. Usually you fire somebody, you wait a day and hire somebody after, or like a couple days. You have it figured out, worked out, but you have respect for that coach where you don't go and replace him immediately like that. And this may be part of the problem. Now, part of this whole institute that I just read from, Sergio's a founding member of it. So in some ways, that's part of the reason why they're up in arms. But are they like a European League head coach like union where they can do something about this? They're saying they're going to make Bologna fulfill their contract obligations with Sergio no matter what. This is weird. This is a weird situation. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it and kind of seeing what happens. This is Raptors related. He is a Raptors champion with us, and he was almost our head coach this summer. So in some ways, I want to keep an eye on what's happened with Sergio losing his job yesterday. Very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Tom Duke saying Sergio would be a great assistant. He could fill that video department opening. Laugh out loud. Man, Tom, that's the disrespect. We don't want Sergio to do that. He's a world-renowned, important coach, and that's disrespectful. You're going to get a letter from that board, just like the one I just read, Tom. That was disrespectful. The comments by Tom Duke saying that a coach of his esteem. That's funny. Tom Duke saying, would Alvin ever coach again? I don't think he's got it in him. In some ways, you have to be a special breed. It's not that he doesn't have knowledge. It's not that he can't explain stuff. But in some ways, it's not just knowing stuff and doing basketball plays. It's having creativity. It's having cutting edge ideas about what works on the court and trying new stuff that nobody's willing to try. And I don't know if Alvin's got that kind of creative mindset for coaching strategies and being original. It may be that he knows basketball plays and everything like that, but that's part of what makes you a good coach is being creative and being willing to try really new stuff that nobody else would do. Nick Nurse. Well, now we're going to see Darko do that kind of stuff. Watch. Yeah, there you go. Mo's saying, wow, crazy stuff. All the best, Sergio. W Stream. Always keep at it, Lex. Yeah, so they fired him yesterday. We'll see if he gets anything done. And I'm really surprised how quickly they replaced him with the Latvian coach. Like that right away. G saying, in regards to the lawsuit, paraphrasing what Silver said, I suspect it may get to me, so I will reserve judgment. Give me a strike. Sorry. That's all right, Tom. Don't worry about it. I thought that was kind of funny what you said, but you're getting a letter now. You're going to get a letter from that EuroLeague Head Coaches Association. They're like, you disrespected our member, Sergio. Maybe it's him. He's like the whole thing and the whole kit and caboodle, and he's just made up like a front of a organization, and it's just Sergio. He's like, you have disrespected a very esteemed coach, and it's like he wrote it and he sent it, and it's like if you write a letter to that board, it goes to Sergio's address. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. No, I'm not gonna give you a strike, Tom. It's all right, and don't be sorry. I just thought that was a little disrespectful. Are you talking about the MSG lawsuit with the Raptors? I think that's what you're talking about. Send the fine to the car wash. Tommy's Express. That's right. Grady Dick is promoting Tommy's Express. About the New York Knicks lawsuit, we have not heard anything about it in like 2 or 3 weeks. I think that it's being handled in house, and maybe there's no more news about it because it's gone away and it's been frivolous. So I have no idea what's happening with it. It may pop its head up again right before the season with bad timing, but I don't think it's a problem. In some ways, everything seems business as usual with the Raptors. And even if there's some sort of penalties or something we're going to have to pay, we may find out about them, or maybe we won't. Maybe Adam Silver is like already pissed at New York for putting this on blast, and they're saying we're handling this all under without any publicity from here on out. If the Raptors are gonna do something in punishment for y'all, nobody's gonna know about it. Is basically what Adam Silver's saying. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. There's no new news on this front. In some ways, I'm like, okay, is it gone away, or is it gonna pop up again, or whatever? The resolution of the MSG lawsuit towards the Raptors, I don't know if it's happened. It could have. It could have happened privately and everybody's paid off and nobody can talk about it. So I don't know. In some ways, who cares? Once again, it's just a distraction, bullshit, super frivolous lawsuit that we shouldn't even be worried about. G's saying, does anyone know if Logical Raptors Fanatic is okay? Yeah, Tom talked to him. He reached out to him and wrote him a letter, an email, and he reached out back to him and he said he is going to be back around the season. I think he said November. I tell him this season starts in October. Maybe he needs to come earlier. But he said that he really was getting upset with the changes this summer. That when Fred left and the talk and things about Nick and things were really upsetting him, the change, and that he couldn't take it anymore, that he just needed a break. I get that. In some ways, we get so used to Nick Nurse being our coach and Fred running the team that these changes have been difficult in some ways. So he needed a break. He burnt out from doing his channel and just talking about Raptors constantly because the changes were overwhelming him. And I get it. You know, he didn't want us to diss Fred or Nick. He really does like those guys. And seeing the switches for the team hurt him. He didn't like it. And it sucks. I get it. I felt it too, to a degree. But I'm really good at moving on quickly. In some ways, I really do move quickly with the Raptors and what Masai and Bobby decide. I get sad. Sure. I was really upset when DeMar got traded. So Fred leaving may have affected Mike a little bit more than the other Raptor freaks, is what I'm saying. So I think that's part of why. He also went away for a little while last year around this time too. So it is a normal break time for people to be away from Raptors. It's just we're not normal. We're not normal, that's for sure. That's right. Yeah, let's see. G saying nice. So yeah, we took care of him. Or Tom reached out to him. Thank you, Tom, for doing that. Fiercely saying, missed my comment right before Tom Duke. Let me see where you're at. No. Last fiercely comment. To all the doubters, haters, and ESPN, we have a surprise in store for you this upcoming season. That's right. I believe that. I think we're going to be fine. Dennis, Grady, the leap and a bound by Precious or Scotty or Coloco. Yeah, we're going to be fine. Jakob Pertl's very steady. They're ranking Siakam as the third best power forward in the entire league now. They switched it. They must have heard us. We said, why are you ranking him in centers? Rank him in the 4. And they did. They put him as the third best power forward in the league. I think he's behind AD and I forget who the other one is. But yeah, that's really, really good where they put Siakam in the rankings just now that I just seen. So we have some good weapons, and they need to know. They need to know that we are coming, and we're going to be good still. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Fiercey's also saying Adam Silver said he's the one who will look at the lawsuit and cannot speak to it as he's not done. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, well, we'll take the slap on the wrist. If the Knicks really think they're going to get something substantial from us, or we're going to be really penalized, I'll be pissed. But for the most part, give me a slap on the wrist. If there's some sort of slap on the wrist the Raptors got to get for an idiot named Azotam, then we'll take it. We'll take that slap on the wrist. Cowboys saying, everyone have a great day. The subway's back on. Ta-da. Gotta go, Lex. Bam. And Raptor Freaks. See you Sunday. Yeah, Sunday special report tomorrow on the new resting rules. Load management, be gone. There's new rules, and I'm going to tell you all about them tomorrow and how they'll affect the Toronto Raptors specifically. So please join me, 9:30 a.m., Sunday special report, regular time. Trevor saying, I'm going to watch the Sky and the Aces tomorrow because I'm in Long Beach, California, and it's just a short trip over to Vegas. What a lifestyle. Commissioner J is living here. He's sending me little championship trophies in the mail. I just got another one yesterday at my house. And he's in Long Beach. That's right, the LBC. And he is going to just jet set over to Vegas to watch the WNBA playoff game between the Sky and the Aces tomorrow. What a life. Oh my gosh, Trevor J. You are blessed. And you know what? This is the thing. Trevor told me on the phone. He said, listen, my life has been great. Such a great story of success and such good things have happened to me. I want to give back. And that's part of the reason why he wants to do these challenges and give trophies and just have fun on our channel is that in some ways he's had so much good come to him that he wants to keep that going by putting good out to other people. And I love you for that, Trevor J. And look at that. Good comes to you, and boom, you're going to the WNBA playoffs. Beautiful thing. Tom Duke saying, take Teehee exemptions for the new resting rules. Crazy. Yeah, we're going to see this. Yeah, I'll talk about LeBron's special case and this and all that stuff tomorrow. I had to save my stuff for tomorrow. I would talk about it today, but then we can go another hour, and then I'm like, no, we need to shut this down. And I need material for tomorrow. Fiercely saying, at the end of the day, we have no control over the changes, and it's a rude awakening to witness. It is a business. I can understand logical. It can be tough when you favor an individual. Hang in there. Yeah. In some ways, he didn't like I get it. You know, when a player leaves, some of us were like, bye, Felicia. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. And that hurt him in some ways. He didn't like seeing us kind of being so gleeful about him leaving. And in some ways, I totally agree with him. I didn't like how gleeful some people were about Fred being off the team. It's this bittersweet kind of thing. It's to its right and decision and outcome. But in some ways, it's still somebody that really was a part of our team and somebody we loved and cherished as a person, most of us, is going somewhere else. And that's part of the pain for him. I get it. I love Fred too. Fred's awesome and amazing. But I also know this is the right time for him to split from us and do what he's doing now. And I'm just glad it worked out very nicely so that we can all be civil and happy. You know, Fred, in a lot of ways, will always love Toronto, and it'll always be a huge part of something about him and his life. It will never, ever change. In fact, I could say Fred could actually, I don't know for sure, but he could actually be kind of like Alvin in carrying our culture forward in ways that are very good for our franchise in later years after his playing career. Who knows? We'll have to see how Fred is after this, how much he comes across the border now that he's back in the States and playing for a U.S. team. That's always the test. Is once you're gone and you get traded away from the Raptors, well, do you return? Do you come back to Toronto and do you enjoy your glory and your time from when you were here before? You know, I want to see what happens when DeMar retires. Will he come back to Toronto and hang around, even though there's a lot of hurt from some things that happened here? But there's also a lot of joy and wonderful memories and great things also. Lowry, another one. Lowry, you just going to stay away for the rest of your career? Or are you going to come back to Toronto and do stuff here in your post game life when you retire? That's what I want to know. That's a big way I gauge whether they're part of our culture or not. Muggsy, JYD, these guys are always around the Raptors in the years since they left. They come back to Toronto regularly, and they're a big part of our culture and our history of the Raptors. That's what I want to know. Former Raptors, Jonas Valanciunas, would you come and show up back in Toronto just for fun after your playing days are over? Just as a great Raptor legend from back in the day. That's what we'll have to see. That's kind of how I judge whether they're in good standing with me. You know, Vince barely ever comes back to Toronto. When he does, it's great. But he doesn't come back like Muggsy and JYD do. And that I count that. I look at that. I'm like, well, he's not as committed to his Raptors history as Jerome is. That's for sure. You know, I look at it that way. Really do. Fiercely saying Trevor J may run into Snoop Dogg if he's in the LBC. Yeah, who knows? He may run into a couple of those Mount Rush Westmore guys. Who knows? It could be E40. It could be Too Short. Run into any of them. Ice Cube. Are we there yet? All right. I guess I'll wrap it up for an hour and a half. That's not bad. All right, let me see. There's nothing else I really want to talk about. Oh, once again, here, I'll do this really quick, guys. If you want to join our NBA Fantasy Basketball League that we're going to start this this year, here is the link. Here's your opportunity. If you're in the chat, Amit, whoever is in here who wants to play fantasy NBA with the Raptor Freaks, that is the link to get into our fantasy league. We have 20 teams that will be allowed in it. Right now we have 8. So there are 12 spots that are open. So get in there and get a team if you want to be serious about playing fantasy NBA with us this season. That's the league. And there's going to be a league in the ESPN site also that I'll build in the next week or so also. But the Yahoo one's open right now. If you want to get in there and make a team, just click on that link I just put in there and join up with us. You can compete with Tom Duke and Kareem Thomas and David Zaborin and Bradley and all of us are going to be in there. Yeah. See, Fiercely saying Ibaka came through this summer and spring. See, Ibaka is on that list of friendly to the city of Toronto as a former Raptor. Yeah, he's definitely on that list like Jerome and Muggsy. He definitely loves his city and he comes back and he spends time here. So, yeah, Serge is one of them. He is definitely one of them. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Alvin Williams, thank you for being a culture builder for the Toronto Raptors franchise. You really are one of the first to ever really put that anchor in with our team and say, I'm a Raptor and I'm a Raptor for life, not just while I play here. I want to be a Raptor for a long time. And you are still as an announcer for us. And I appreciate that. The culture of a young franchise needs to be built. You know, all of the young franchises need to go through this. It's too bad Vancouver didn't get a chance to establish more culture in their city with the Grizzlies. Well, that culture for the Vancouver Grizzlies moved to Memphis. That's what I'm saying. Different young teams like the Heat built a lot of culture quick for an expansion team from 1989. The Magic have a culture to them. You know, all these young teams want culture. Oklahoma City Thunder wants some culture. And there's issues with them right now in their building I want to talk about, but not right now. But I'm just saying, the more culture you can build as a young franchise, the better, because it means you're passing milestones as growing and maturing as a franchise. And that's why we want former players that are on our broadcast. That's why we want former players that have sons that play on our team. And that's why we want former players that used to play for us like 10, 15 years ago to come back to Toronto and be a part of being at the in-game experience like JYD and Tyrone Muggsy Bogues. So, yeah, building Raptors culture. Thank you, Alvin Williams. Thank you to those other individuals I just named. But Alvin is the number one guy in a lot of ways. Tom Duke's giving W's to Alvin. I love it. Fiercely saying, I just tried to join Yahoo and it says server error. For some reason, I think there's a problem with Yahoo and Canada. Cool Cat and you and Monique have all had this same problem. I do have the game through Yahoo Canada, not Yahoo Canada, Yahoo US, yahoo.com, and not yahoo.ca. And I know that there's some problems with them blocking news from the US or something like that, or just news in general with like the Canada thing that's going on with the News Information Act or whatever. I don't know. We'll try and figure this out. It could be all of y'all that are getting server errors to get into the Yahoo. Well, we'll put you on the ESPN league for sure. So when I set that up, I'll let you guys know. All right. Thanks for watching once again. We love you, Alvin Williams. Be proud to be Raptors fans and be proud to be Raptor freaks. This year, we're going to be way better than they think. And I'm excited. We're getting closer and closer. I'll be back tomorrow 9:30 for a Sunday special report. And y'all have just a great Saturday. Get out there and touch grass, like Scotty would say. It's very important. Isaac Campbell's got the bacon and eggs ready. He's got a bowl of cereal. He's got some orange juice. He's got pancakes, flapjacks. He's got a croissant. I think that's how you say it. And Alvin Williams. There you go. You got a good breakfast. Continental breakfast by benevolent Isaac Campbell. That's right. Let's go, Raptors!